Hi everybody. So gasification. Gasification is a process where things like biomass or plastics or coal can be turned into a gas, and it's a long-standing process. It's been around since the 1800s. Originally it was used for the production of town gas, and the first street lighting was 1807 in Pall Mall in London. And of course it quickly spread to the other cities and was in place until the electrification of the cities. In about the 1920s or so, gasification was used to produce precursor chemicals for the chemical industry, and it's still in use today, and it's sometimes used in blast furnaces. Now, gasification itself has been called incineration in disguise, and when you think about it as an industrial process for getting energy out of the biomass, it's a bit 6 and 2 threes. It's kind of on the balance because of all the cleaning required and all the pre-preparation of the biomass that you put in the reactor. But of course it's extremely popular at a home level and enjoyed a huge resurgence during World War I and particularly World War II, when gasification was used to produce fuel for cars, and it was estimated that something like 9 million cars in the road during World War II were run by gasification plants. The Russians invented a gasified motorcycle, which I thought was particularly cool. So gasification has a good history. It is a little contentious in industry, but quite adaptable at the home level. Now there's a reason for that. In industry, of course, a huge amount of effort goes into making something efficient as possible. Normally in the home level, when you're burning something, you basically chuck it on the fire and warm your hands or cook your toast. Most of what happens in gasification just goes straight up the chimney and is lost. If you can capture that element of it and reuse that, then we get an efficiency improvement at that kind of level that industry long ago captured. And so gasification for individuals is very, very attractive. For industry, it's used a lot, but it's a bit 6 and 2 threes. So what is gasification? Well, gasification is where essentially you heat something under a reduced atmosphere to turn it into gas. Now, what you normally see in gasification projects on the internet is where the gas comes out, gets a bit of a clean, and then it's used to run an engine or burnt to show you that it's working. Actually, it's quite a complicated process. There are essentially 4 stages that it goes through. The first stage is just dehydration. Normally the stuff's wet and you drive off the water, so it's just a drying stage. The next stage is the pyrolysis stage. The pyrolysis stage is where all of those volatiles are driven off. You have to remember that plants, biomass, is a living thing, and when it was still alive it was busy producing the stuff it needed. So there was methanol, ethanol, sugars, tars, creosotes, all in the plant. When we chop it down, that doesn't go away, it stays there. And so at that sort of 300 to 400 degrees centigrade reduced oxygen atmosphere, all of that material is just driven off as a volatile, and so we get a mixture of burnable gases like methane. We also get creosotes and lightweight alcohols, and you see these collected at various points. So the initial point after a cyclone separation, there's usually particulate matter, and you put it in a cyclone, it all drops out. It's the thick and heavy tar stuff, and it is one of the problems with gasifiers is that they do tar up. The next point of collection, you would actually get liquid fuels that are very much lighter and burn a bit more like diesels. And then at the exit, you usually have the gases that just burn straight away. And then the products of pyrolysis, which is the second stage. The third stage is the combustion stage. This is where some of the volatiles and some of the carbon and the char that's going to be left react with the partial oxygen that's around and burn. They actually provide the heat needed for the gasification process, for the dehydration and for the pyrolysis. After that stage is complete, then we get the fourth stage, and the fourth stage is the actual gasification stage. It's where the char, which is predominantly leftover heavy metals and carbon, will react with any steam that's there and any carbon dioxide that's there to form carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Now there is a fifth element there called the water shift reaction, because there's a balance between carbon dioxide and water and hydrogen and carbon monoxide. between those two gases will shift between each other depending on the partial pressures, and that helps push the gasification reaction along. Normally what you see on the internet is all of these processes happening at once. You get basically a steel pipe, you charge it up with a load of your biomass, heat a fire at the bottom, give it a restricted flow of oxygen, and bingo, you have a gasifier. But you can also separate these processes out. So you could dry the mass all by itself. You can then pyrolyze it by putting it in a sealed container and subjecting it to heat around about 300 to 400 degrees centigrade, in which case all of those volatiles and gases will come off all by themselves and can be used as a fuel by themselves. Of course, what you'll be left with when you've done that is a whole bunch of carbon. Carbon actually is very similar to charcoal, and it is in fact what charcoal burners do when they create charcoal. So the pyrolysis side of it will leave you with a lot of gases and volatiles, and then the charcoal. The gasification process actually hasn't been done at that stage, and then you can gasify the charcoal if you want to get the gasification products out. So those processes can be separated out and help to understand, I think, what's going on in the gasification as a totality, rather than the single thing where all of this happens at one time. For the Homemaker, there are basically two types of gasifier. There's the updraft gasifier, because the air comes up, and would you believe it, the downdraft gasifier, because the air comes down. Industry also uses something called fluidized bed and entrained gas, but the two main types you're going to see are the updraft and the downdraft. Now there are various tweaks on those two styles, because although you can gasify all of the stuff we talked about, biomass, plastics, coal, tyres, that sort of stuff, the devil is in the details with this sort of stuff. If you're trying to gasify, for instance, grass clippings, well, they just clump together. But if you stick a stirrer in there, you can gasify them. If you're trying to gasify wet materials, for example, then remember the gases come off hot, and they tend to be put through a heat exchanger. The air from the heat exchanger could be fed back into the gasifier to preheat the dry materials. So you find lots of little tweaks depending on the materials that you're going to use. But it is believed that a wasted throat in the pipe gives you a huge improvement in performance. And that may or may not be true. There's certainly some very good facts and figures to prove it's true. But the simple truth is a straightforward pipe is going to give you a gasifier that will generate syngas. Now, we want to generate our own syngas for methanol production. I'm thinking about producing methanol over a catalyst, and so we want the syngas, which is why I've gone into a bit about the gasification and what the process actually is. Because once you've performed the process, you do have to do other things. You do have to separate out the particulate matter, and that just uses a cyclone. You have to cool the gases, and there's a degree of gas cleaning that needs to go on before you collect that end gas. But we'll cover those later. What I thought I would do is cover the general theory about it. It is quite easy to make a gasification unit. It is quite complicated to make one if you really want to go into it, but we just want to produce some syngas and give it a go. So I thought I would go through the theory. We'll do some practical experiments, demonstrations of gasifiers, and then hopefully make our own methanol. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and please do remember to like and subscribe.